We talked briefly about the kind of facilities available to Afghan refugees. Now, of course, there has been a generation of them who have been born in Pakistan, who've lived here, many of whom have assimilated into society really well. But of course, there have been approximately 4 million who have returned since 2002 to Afghanistan. Tell us a little about your view on what repatriation to the Afghan refugee looks like today.
Well, we've been talking about the repatriation of the rest of the refugees settled in Pakistan for the last almost like 15 years. Of course, the whole issue of the repatriation or at times forcing the refugees to be returned back to Afghanistan was both political and as well as the issues that Pakistan is also facing. Some have returned. There is no doubt that quite a big number of Afghans have returned to Afghanistan since the beginning of Karzai's administration in 2002. And most of them have reintegrated back into the society in Afghanistan as well as have taken quite high positions, both within the private sector as well as the government sector. But of course, we should not forget that Pakistan is subject to the 1949 Geneva Convention, where to give protection to the refugees from wherever they come, whether they're Afghans or from other places. It does make life difficult for those who have been born in Pakistan, for the last 4 decades. Requesting them to return back to Afghanistan sometimes could be difficult as well, because some may not have a place where to reside, some may not have families, and those who have lived for the last 3 to 4 decades in Pakistan, they must have been reintegrated into the Pakistani lifestyle, and requesting them now to go to Afghanistan is seen in Kabul as a political move. Of course, this is all linked to the peace and reintegration settlement that can take place between the Taliban and the US as well as the Afghan government. One of the conditions I've heard was that once the peace deal is signed between the US and the Taliban, would be to have the prisoners released of the Taliban, and for Pakistan to implement the full the peace agreement across its territory would be to have the return of the refugees back to Afghanistan as well. I'm not sure whether the Afghan government itself is ready to have hundreds of thousands of refugees in its territory right now. Of course, we're going to be having a period of spring